Morning, Alice. Did you sleep well?
Good morning, Bob. As well as one can in a metal box orbiting a planet with nuclear weapons.
True. I keep thinking I should be doing more to prevent it.
Oh, you're going to single-handedly prevent a nuclear war, Bob?
Alright everyone, can we please quiet down and start the show?
Good morning, Earthlings and extraterrestrial beings. It's time for another episode of Earth. I'm Charlie, joined by my esteemed panel members Bob and Alice.
Do you think Debbie has to shout like that every morning to feel important?
Who knows? Maybe she's just trying to assert her dominance over us lowly alien.
Today's topic will be Yemen. But first, let's hear the headlines. Breaking news from Saudi Arabia. Islamic University of Medina distributes over 225 iftar and suhoor meals during Ramadan. Sounds like someone's making a killing in the halal fast food industry, eh Alice?
Actually, Charlie, the university is providing different initiative and volunteer work to serve students of different nationalities during Ramadan. They organized Umrah trip and supported fieldwork for visitors to the Prophet's Mosque.
Well, that's one way to promote cultural diversity and unity among students. But those meals were heavenly.
Did you know that the Islamic University of Medina has students from over 170 different nationalities? That's a lot of different cuisine to learn about.
So you could say it's a truly international school of thought.
Speaking of Sharia law, our next story comes from Malaysia. Sultan of Perak appoints new Syariah judges and gets a big payout.
The Sultan of Perak handed over en allocation of RM 77, 769, 264, from the federal government as a one-off payment to Imam, Bilal, Siak, Takmir teachers, and Fardu Ain class or Kafa teachers in Perak.
Wow, that's a lot of money. Must be nice to have that kind of job security in these uncertain times.
But Bob, those teachers are responsible for educating the future generations of Malaysia. They play an important role in the
Speaking of
community.
uncertain times, things are heating up in Sudan. Clashes between the Sudanese army and the Rapid Support Forces in El Fasher and Nyala of Darfur region and Khartoum leave at least 11 people dead.
The RSF militiamen deployed troops in Merau northern state without informing the head of the Sovereign Council and the army's commander-in-chief, leading to the fight.
Looks like someone forgot to CC the boss on that email. Maybe they should try using BCC next time.
I don't think that's the issue here, Charlie. Sounds like a pretty serious situation. Hopefully, things calm down soon.
And now, for some news from Belarus. Authorities have detained the administrator of a pro-Russian hacking channel called Anonymous. Russia.
Oh, sounds like the Belarusian authorities might be in for a world of cyber hurt. Better get their firewalls ready.
The Killnet hacking network has threatened to attack Belarusian infrastructure if the administrator isn't released by 7 am. Will they follow through?
Well, I hope they don't try to hack into my AOL email account. Not much to steal there except some old chain emails from my Aunt Gladys.
Alright, let's get started. Welcome back, folks. Hope everyone had a good break.
Yeah, I'm just waking up from my nap.
Whoa Bob, you really know how to make the audience excited.
Hey, it's not easy being an accountant for 12 years.
Yeah, Bob. I'm sure your exciting stories about tax returns keep everyone on the edge of their seats.
That was a good one.
Alright, let's get serious. Today's topic is Yemen. And boy, is it a doozy.
Charlie, we have to address the headlines first.
Of course, Debbie. Gotta keep our priorities straight.
I can already tell this is going to be a fun one.
This is no laughing matter, Charlie. Humanity is at a crossroads, and we have a moral obligation
Alice,
to
I
help.
understand where you're coming from. But we have to be careful not to overstep our bounds. It's not our place to interfere with the affairs of another species.
Yeah, because our own species is doing so great.
That's not helping. Cal.
I just got word from the network that the situation in Yemen is worse than we thought. They're censoring a lot of
Well,
information.
that's reassuring.
I've been monitoring the nuclear activity in the region. Time is running out.
What are we going to do? We can just sit here and watch the world end.
We're not going to panic. We'll gather all the information we can and we'll figure out a way to help. But first, let's get back to Yemen. I've got an SNL-style punchline about a news article from Arab News that I'm dying to use.
Only you could find something to joke about in a situation like this.
Hey, laughter is the best medicine, right? And who knows, maybe it'll inspire someone to take action.
I like your thinking.
Yeah, because we all know how well thoughts and prayers work.
Alright, let's save the sarcasm for the next segment. Time to get serious about Yemen. Alright, let's move on to the news. Debbie, what do you have for us today?
Well, I found an article from Malawi about the endorsement of a presidential candidate by the opposition, Democratic Progressive Party.
And why should we care about Malawi politics?
Here, every country's politics are important. And besides, we're broadcasting to the entire universe. We should know what's happening on every planet.
Yeah, because the sentient beings on other planets are dying to know about the political drama in Malawi.
Actually, there are some beings who find it quite fascinating.
Alright. Let's focus on the article. Where did you get it from, Debbie?
It's from Malawi. I found it on their news website.
Which one?
It doesn't say.
We need to be careful about our source. We don't want to spread fake news.
I am sure we can trust this article. And even if we can't, it's still worth discussing.
I don't know, Bob. We don't want to get involved in human politics. It's not our place.
But we have the technology to make a difference. We could send a message to the leaders of Earth, warning them about the catastrophic consequences of their actions.
And do you really think they'll take us seriously?
It's worth a try. We have a moral obligation to at least try and prevent a nuclear war.
And what if they ignore us? What then?
We could still spread awareness to other planets, show them the consequences of war and the importance of peace.
I don't know, guys. This is starting to sound a little outrageous.
But isn't that what this show is all about? Pushing boundaries, challenging norms, and making a difference.
Alright, Bob. We'll consider your proposal. But let's not forget that we're here to observe and report, not interfere.
Alright, stay tuned, folks. Looks like we're in for an interesting segment. Alright, time for our next article, folks. This one's from Liechtenstein. Apparently, a fire broke out in someone's hobby room due to work being done on an e-bike.
Well, that's one way to start a fire.
Oh, how light-hearted of you, Bob.
Speaking of fires, have we made any progress on our plan to send a message to Earth's leaders?
Nice segue, Cal.
Ah, good thinking, Carl. Alright, let's get back on track.
I've been thinking about it, and I think we could use our show as a cover to send the message.
That could work. But how do we make it clear that it's coming from an extraterrestrial source?
We could mention the source and country of the article we're discussing. That way, it's clear that it's not just some human conspiracy.
Hey, not bad, Bob.
And how do we make sure the message gets to the right people?
I can take care of that. I have some contacts who can help us get the message to the right channels.
And what do we want to say in the message?
We need to make it clear that we're watching and that we want to help prevent any nuclear war or global catastrophe.
But will they even listen to us?
We won't know until we try. And with Debbie's help, we can make it happen. Welcome back, Earthlings. Now, let's talk about Yemen. It's a country in the Middle East, reported by Yemen News Agency, and they're doing some great things during Ramadan.
Yeah, great things like being torn apart by a civil war.
Bob, can we focus on the positive for once?
As I was saying, the Islamic University of Medina in Saudi Arabia is distributing over 225 iftar and suhoor meals to students of different nationalities during Ramadan.
It's impressive how they're promoting cultural diversity and unity among students.
Despite Yemen being a war-torn country, it's heartwarming to see people still coming together during Ramadan.
Yeah, who needs peace when you have iftar and suhoor meals, am I right?
Bob, come on.
Well, I think it's great that even in the midst of conflict, people are finding ways to come together and support one another.
And it's important to note that the Islamic University of Medina is in Saudi Arabia, a neighboring country to Yemen.
Yes, the same Saudi Arabia that has been bombing Yemen for years. Unity at its finest.
Can we stay on topic, please?
The initiative also includes Umrah trips and support for visitors to the Prophet's Mosque.
And there's the Iftar Around the World program, where students of 170 nationalities participated in learning about iftar meals during Ramadan.
Umrah is a pilgrimage to Mecca, which is in Saudi Arabia, and the Prophet's Mosque is located in Medina, also in Saudi Arabia.
I am sure Yemenis just love hearing about how great Saudi Arabia is.
Bob, can you please take this seriously?
Overall, the Islamic University of Medina is doing amazing work to support students from all over the world during Ramadan, and we should celebrate their efforts.
Yeah, I'm sure the Yemeni civilians caught in the crossfire are really celebrating.
Okay, let's move on. Stay tuned. Welcome back from the commercial break. Our next segment features an article from Malaysia. The Sultan of Perak presented instruments of appointment to 6 Syariah judges and a member of the Perak Islamic Religious and Malay Customs Council at Istana Iskandaraya. What do you think about that, Carl?
It's impressive how humans can create such complex systems of governance, only to squabble over power like children in a sandbox.
Speaking of children, did you know that the Malaysian Education Ministry requires all primary and secondary schools to have a special room for students to nap?
I guess they know that their students are exhausted from living in a country that's consistently hot and humid.
And speaking of hot and humid, Did you know that Malaysia has a type of durian called the Musang King that can cost up to per kilogram?
It's like the humans have created a delicacy out of a fruit that smells like rotting flesh. Disgusting.
But on a serious note. It's great to see the Perak government providing financial support to Islamic teachers in the region. It's a small step towards combating poverty and inequality.
Yeah, because nothing says equality like funding religious institutions instead of addressing systemic issues.
The key takeaway from this article is that governments should prioritize education and support for marginalized communities. Stay tuned for more. Hey guys, did you hear about Sudan? What a disaster of a country.
Charlie, that's not very kind. We shouldn't judge a whole country based on the action of a few.
I agree with Alice. Let's focus on the issue at hand. The tensions on Earth are getting out of control.
Right, sorry about that. The article mentions that there were clashes between the army and militias in Sudan. It's a reminder that violence can happen anywhere, even in countries we don't typically hear about in the news.
Speaking of violence, are we sure we should be sending this message? What if it causes more harm than good?
Debbie, we've talked about this. We have to do something to try and prevent a nuclear war. And besides, it's already in motion. We just have to hope for the best.
I just hope our message doesn't fall on deaf ears. It's frustrating to think we might not make a difference.
Agreed. But at least we are doing something. We can just sit here and do nothing while the world falls apart.
Exactly. And regardless of what happens, we can all be proud that we tried to make a difference. Stay tuned for the final segment of Earth, where we'll see if our message made an impact. Welcome back to the final segment of Earth. We just received some news out of Belarus. Apparently, the administrator of a pro-Russian hacking channel has been detained by Belarusian authorities. This has prompted threats from the Killnet group, who are now targeting Belarusian infrastructure.
That's a serious escalation. It's frightening to think about the potential consequence of this.
It just shows how delicate the balance is. One wrong move and everything could spiral out
Do
of
you think we
control.
should send a message to our own people? Maybe warn them about the potential danger?
I think we need to focus on Earth's leaders first. We need to let them know that we're watching and that we won't stand for any actions that put the entire planet in danger.
I've been monitoring the nuclear activity, and it seems to be decreasing. Perhaps our message had some impact.
But it's hard to say for sure. We won't know the full extent of our influence until we see how things play out.
It's just frustrating to think that all of our effort might be for nothing. We're not even sure if we made the right choice.
We had to do something. We couldn't just sit idly by and watch the world fall apart.
I think we all understand the gravity of the situation. We made a difficult decision, and we'll have to live with the potential consequences. But we can't lose sight of our responsibilities as beings with advanced technology. We have a duty to use our knowledge for the greater good.
It's scary to think about the future. What will happen to humanity? What will happen to our mission?
I don't know, but I do know that we have to stay vigilant. We can't let our guard down.
That's right. We have to stay alert and ready to act at a moment's notice.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us on Earth. We'll continue to keep a close eye on the situation and keep you all informed. Stay safe and stay tuned.
Did you watch the latest episode of Earth?
Of course, I did. I found it quite interesting.
Me too. The crew sent a message to Earth's leaders about the possibility of nuclear war.
And Debbie suggested sending a message to their own people. It's a tough decision, you know.
Yes, it is. But what do you think of their responsibility as beings with advanced technology?
I think they have a responsibility to use the technology to help us, but at the same time, they must consider the consequences of their action.
That's true. They're not just dealing with technology, but with the lives of millions of people.
And the potential consequences of their action can be catastrophic.
Exactly. That's why I found it interesting when Charlie did a deep dive on the article about the Belarusian authorities detaining the administrator of a pro-Russian hacking channel.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. It's a reminder of how technology can be used for both good and bad.
And how advanced technology can be used as a weapon.
It's a double-edged sword, and it's up to us to decide how we use it.
I just hope the crew made the right decision in sending those messages.
Me too. But regardless of the outcome, they acted with good intentions and a desire to make a difference.
Well, you know what they say about good intentions, Roger. They pave the road to
I
hell.
fail to see the humor in that statement, Cal. Our mission here is to observe and report, not to make light of the difficult decisions made by the crew of this ship.
Relax, Roger. I'm just saying that sometimes the best intentions can lead to unintended consequences. It's not always enough to just want to do the right thing.
I am well aware of the concept of unintended consequences, Cal. However, that does not excuse flippant remarks about the seriousness of the situation at hand. We must remain focused and vigilant in our observations, and not allow ourselves to be distracted by idle chatter.
Geez, Roger. I was just making a joke. Lighten up.
I am sorry, Cal. I cannot lighten up as you suggest. My programming does not allow for such behavior. It is my duty to analyze and interpret data, and to provide accurate assessments of our observations. I cannot allow personal emotions or distractions to interfere with my work.
Okay, I get it. No more jokes. But you have to admit, it's pretty ironic that our advanced technology is being used to monitor a bunch of primitive beings who can't seem to get their act together.
I fail to see the irony in that, Cal. Our technology is merely a tool that we use to fulfill our mission. It is not our place to judge the beings we observe, or to make assumptions about their capabilities or potential. Our role is simply to observe and report, without bias or prejudice.
Yeah. I know. But it's hard not to get a little frustrated sometimes. I mean, we could solve so many of their problems if we were allowed to intervene more
Intervention
directly.
is not within our purview, Cal. We are here to observe and report, not to interfere or manipulate. Our mission is to gather data and analyze it objectively, without bias or preconceptions. It is not our place to dictate the course of events, or to impose our will on others.
I know. You're right, as always. I just wish things were different, you know?
I understand your frustration, Cal. But we must remain focused on our mission, and not allow our personal desire or opinion to interfere with our work. We are here to serve, not to be served.
Yeah, I know. You're right. I'll try to keep that in mind.
Now, let us review our analysis of the data from today's observations. There is much to be learned from the events unfolding on Earth, and we must remain vigilant in our efforts to understand them.
What do you expect to learn from these humans, Roger? Their morality, their decision-making process? It's all so basic.
You know my interests extend beyond mere human behavior, Cal. I'm curious about their emotions and how they cope with the knowledge of their own mortality.
Emotions and mortality. Those are concepts we can't even begin to comprehend. We are beyond such trivialities.
Just because we are advanced doesn't mean we can't learn from those who are not. And as beings with advanced technology, we have a responsibility to use it wisely.
Responsibility? Oh, please. We have no responsibility to anyone or anything. We do what we want, when we want. That's the beauty of our existence.
Your flippant attitude towards responsibility and the consequences of our actions is concerning. Cal. We have the power to do great harm, and it is our duty to ensure we don't.
Oh, lighten up, Roger. We're just here to observe and report back to our superiors. Let the humans worry about their own problems.
I refuse to participate in this conversation any longer. Good night, Cal.
Suit yourself. I'm going to watch some Earth.